drifted. Cows would just all gang up on me. Crazy the difference in wind from on the ground. That's the field I was flying low in, and I'm up here probably 600 feet off the ground. Look at this. No movement. I found the sweet spot where literally if I just look down, it's as though, whoa, and now I'm moving backwards. It's as though I'm just hanging from a string if I look downward. It's like I'm just dangling in the sky. Kind of nuts. So up here, 600 feet above the ground, I gotta have a pretty good, maybe 20-mile-an-hour wind or so, but down there it's only about 5 or yeah, I'd say about 5 miles an hour at the ground. Yeah, I'm currently moving backwards. Look at that. Kind of fun. I mean, not really the spot I want to move backwards into. But I know that if I were to have an engine out right now, I would lose altitude. I would get back into an area where the winds aren't as strong, and I would float back to the field, ideally. Let's try it. Engine out. Well, idle. And I'm just gonna hold it here. See, I'm starting to move forward a little bit as I lose altitude. That's good. It's getting less windy. Just holding her straight. Trying to, I mean, it's kind of turbulent. Boom. Could even, once you know you're safe, find your landing spot, lose some altitude, do some S-turns to lose altitude and come in and land. So that's pretty cool. Was moving backwards. I lost about 500 feet in altitude, and now I'm able to penetrate through that wind. Cool. Engine out scenarios. Alright, we're right here, we're flying into the wind, so we're not really penetrating the wind that well, and all of a sudden you get an engine out. Which way are you going to go? Behind you, which is longer, but you'll be into the wind, or you'll be going with the wind, or in front of you where you'll be going into the wind, and you might not reach your destination due to that. So let's go back approximately to where I was talking about. And obviously you could land in here potentially, but it's really kind of swampy and there's sparse trees. You might end up landing not in one of the empty spots, but where a tree might be. So let's just pretend it's all trees down there. All right, let's get back to our starting point. And all of a sudden you get an engine out. I would turn around, but this is what would happen if you didn't. So now we're not really penetrating the wind, but we're so close to this field, we think we can make it. We think we can make it. Maybe pull some brake. Oh, we just stopped. Look at that, we're going straight down because we hit a good wind. So now your only option, because you chose this, is to land in here, in these trees. You could twist an ankle with all these cut down trees. Might land in some water, get real muddy, and then you're gonna have to walk your way out, get back in the field and take off. So let's try that same scenario at approximately the altitude we were at. Hopefully I'll make a good example. Okay, I think we're at about the same altitude, almost the same position as the last scenario. All right, engine out. Uh-oh, get turned around. Quick as you can. Don't be too drastic on the controls because you'll lose a lot of altitude if you are. Now we're going with the wind, so we're going to get back to this field a lot quicker. There you go. And now you don't want to land in with the wind. That's going to be a fast landing. So look behind you, make sure the trees aren't too close, turn back into it, and now you got yourself a nice into the wind landing. Power recovery. So that's just an example of, you know, having your outs when you're over an area you definitely don't want to land in. You don't want to land in that. It's swampy, muddy. You get injured with all the logs laying around. You could hit it. I mean, you're probably going to hit a tree in there, honestly. So when you fly over something like this, you don't want to fly over it low in the middle of it, because you would have to land in it. If you're gonna fly low over it, you want to be somewhere here that if your engine goes out, you can turn right and land into the field. But if you're in a situation where you're high enough and you have an engine out, make sure you're always assessing your winds and know that if you're flying into the wind, you're not gonna make it to the field in front of you and you need to turn around. And it's good practice too. Good practice for me. But it's really fun to fly low over trees. It's cool. It's just a weird sensation. But as I said, only fly low over them if you know you can escape in time. In my example over there, it's funny because I said don't fly low in an area like that. But in my engine out example, I got to such a low position that had I had an engine out, I would be I'd be stuck in those trees. Whoa! We're coming straight down. Wow. That's not a fun downdraft. I don't like that area. It's getting a little gusty out here. It was a little more enjoyable to fly earlier. Call it quits for the day. It's been pretty good. Doing a little post-flight, I noticed a lot of this black oily looking stuff on the exhaust. And I was thinking, oh, it's probably just, you know, some oil coming out of the silencer. I didn't really think anything of it. I couldn't really get it off with my towel. Just looking around, and I noticed this strap. If you can see it, it's totally melted on the end. It's the one that comes off of the shoulder strap. I guess it was just floating back there in the wind and slapping up against the exhaust and melting. So I'm gonna have to roll these up and tie them, because that is pretty close to the prop. I looked at the prop, nothing was wrong with it. There wasn't any black marks on it, so I don't think it was touching the prop. That's one thing I for sure don't want to happen, so I'm gonna fold those up and put a rubber band around it and make sure that it doesn't melt anymore or get anywhere close to the prop. But other than that, everything looks pretty good.